All right, so welcome to my YouTube channel. I am the Math Test Prep Pro. And today, one of the things I'm going to go over for standardized testing preparation is that we're going to look at absolute values of numbers and also of equations. And we're just going to kind of solve a few just to see, to give you a feel of where you're at with stuff. All right, so remember, if you look at the top, there's a absolute value rule up there. It says absolute value of x equals a is the same as x equals a or x equals negative a. So basically it's saying that if you take what's inside the absolute value and you set it equal to the positive and negative value of what's on the right-hand side of that equal sign, then what we can do is just solve it from there. All right, so if we look at this one right here, the absolute value of x. Now remember, if you find the absolute value of a number, like say the absolute value of 6 is 6. Absolute value of negative 6 is 6. And then and so on and so on. So absolute value of negative 12 is 12. Absolute value of 12 is 12. So it's going to be the positive value of that number. So when you look at it and you apply it to the rule at the top, positive value equals a is such that x equals a or x equals negative a, you can just go ahead and solve it. So it's going to be x equals 6 or x equals negative 6. All right, let's put that answer up there. So is it true? So it's always a good idea in math just kind of go through and check your work. So for here, if you plugged in 6 for x, the absolute value of 6 equals 6. So that's true. Now for negative 6, if you plug that in for x, so the absolute value of negative 6 equals 6. That's also true. So the answer is correct. X equals 6 or negative 6. So let's scoop this up. Let's look at number 2. Scoop it up a little bit more. All right. All right. So what we have here is now we have an equation, and it says the absolute value of x plus 4 equals 9. So we're going to use the same format. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write an equation where x plus 4 equals 9 and solve, and also an equation where x plus 4 equals negative 9 and solve. And that should give us our two x's. All right, so let's look at it. So x plus 4 equals 9. That's the first equation. The other equation is x plus 9, or excuse me, x plus 4. Sorry about that, guys. That's not confusing. X plus 4 equals negative 9. All right, so I'm going to work on the left equation first. The left equation, x plus 4 equals 9. So to get the x by itself, I'm going to minus 4 from both sides. So the x comes down. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we've got to do to the other. So we have to minus 4 on the left, minus 4 on the right. So plus 4, negative 4 cancel out. The x comes down. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, so let's go over here. X plus 4 equals negative 9. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to minus a 4 on this side, minus a 4 on this side. These cancel out on the left-hand side, leaving me x. And over here, I have a negative 9 minus 4. So essentially what it is it's negative 9 minus 4. And you can do the zip-zip method, zip-zip, right? So it's negative 9 plus negative 4, which gives you a negative 13. All right, so the answer, x equals 5. Or x equals negative 13. All right, so in that problem, let's check it. Let's do some brain checks. So if you plug in 5 for x, 5 plus 4 is 9. Absolute value of 9 is 9, so that's correct. All right, so negative 13 plus 4 is going to give you a negative 9. Absolute value of negative 9 is 9, so that checks out. All right. So if you notice a pattern here, that's just our problem-solving method. When we see these types of equations on tests, we're going to take the absolute value and set it equivalent to the positive and the negative value of what's to the right of the equation. All right. So here we have positive value of x minus 5 equals 3. We're going to do the same thing, same method. X minus 5 equals 3. We'll set it equal to the positive value. Then also set it equal to the negative value. And so what do we do from here? We solve. So on the left-hand side of this equation, x minus 5. So to get rid of the 5, I'm going to plus 5. Add those out. So these two cancel out, leaving x on the left side. 3 plus 5, 8 on the right side. All right, over here we have x minus 5 equals -3. All right, so x5, okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Plus 5 on the left, plus 5 on the right to balance out the equation. These cancel out, leaving an x over here equals 2. Sorry, my math's a little rusty. So x equals 8 or 2. And we're going to do some brain math over here. We're going to say, all right, I'm going to plug in this 8 over here for x. 8 minus 5 is 3. Absolute value of 3 is 3. So it checks out. The number 2, plug that in for x. 2 minus 5 is a -3. Absolute value of -3 is 3. So yeah, that works. 3 equals 3. Okay, let's go to the next problem. A little bit. Okay. I keep that straight. So the absolute value of x equals 2. So this is kind of like the problem we started with. These are the simpler problems, more straightforward problems. So absolute value of x equals 2. So we got to use the rule that we started with. X equals a and x equals -a. So we're going to say, all right, x equals 2. That's the positive value. Also, x equals -2. So there's no solving here. That's just the answer. 2, -2. And we can even do a little bit of mental math here and plug it in too, right? So for 2, we plug it in. The absolute value of 2 is 2. So 2 equals 2. Checks out. So we also plug in -2. The absolute value of -2 is 2. So it checks out. So both of those answers are right. So x equals 2 or -2. All right, so the last one, this is where we have to check our answers to make sure we don't have no curveballs. So we're going to follow the format. So the problem is that the absolute value of x minus 2 equals -4. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it equal to the negative and positive values. X minus 2 equals -4. And also another equation over here, x minus 2 equals 4. Let's do some math, plug in and check, just like we did in the previous problems. All right. So what I do over here for the left side, I gotta do for the right side. So to get rid of that 2, I'm gonna add 2. All right. So x plus 2 cancels out, leaving x on the left-hand side. -4 plus 2 is -2. So I'm going to come over here to this equation. X minus 2 equals 4. So I'm going to do the same thing. Add 2 to each side. Plus 2. X equals 6. So we got two answers. We got x equals -2 and x equals 6. So we want to plug them in and just see if it's true. So let's plug in -2 over here. Do some mental math. So -2. If you plug in -2, so over here, so it's -2 minus 2 absolute value equals -4, right? So I'm just plugging in that -2 over here, just a zip, right? So it's absolute value of -4 equals -4. And that's not true, because this equation comes out to 4 equals -4. So what that tells us is that -2 cannot be an answer. That is not a value for x in that equation. So let's plug in 6. I plug in 6, so it's going to be 6 minus 2 absolute value equals -4, right? So I plug them in. 6 minus 2 is 4 equals -4. So absolute value of 4 is 4. It does not equal -4, right? So that does not make sense, right? So none of these answers are correct. And usually when you see that, if you see the absolute value of x minus 2 equals a -4, when you have the absolute value over here on the left and you have a negative answer over there, it's usually undefined, right? Because there's no answer for that equation. So if you have any questions, let me know. If there's any problems that you want me to work on my channel, I'd be glad to take requests. Just put it in the comment section. Once again, this is the Math Test Prep Pro. I really enjoy doing math, so you guys can see these videos, and I hope they're really helpful. So if you could, just please like and subscribe on my channel. But other than that, have a good night, and thank you.